Don't you where you come from? As long as you're a black man, you're an African.
Peace and back, Power family. So today I will be doing a follow-up video to what is culture and how do we define culture and how should we use culture. So recently it has come to my attention that my videos online are being flagged. Someone asked me recently for a video I did previously, and when I went to go look at it, I was like, "Wow, the video's online." And when I went to go check it out, the video was flagged. Because I don't check my emails as often as I should. I didn't know that my page was under attack. Also, my Instagram page is under attack again. I have a lot of people flagging my Instagram page and my YouTube page, taking down my content. Now, this just shows and proves that not only are we at a physical war, but we are also at a educational and informational war. That this war is being fought on different levels. Like Neely Fuller tells us or teaches us, is that racism, white supremacy revolves around 8 elements of human activity, ranging from economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. And Dr. Frances Cress Welsing also added in healthcare, because that also plays a huge factor in our existence as Africans. So one of the ways that people like myself and other people in the new black media or trying to create the new black media are being attacked is through our forms of entertainment / information. And so that's not going to stop anything. I mean, I'm still going to make informative videos. I'm still going to be on top of my game when it comes to putting out this information, educating people about racism, white supremacy, and how it affects your life and household, and whatever the case may be. But I'm sharing this with you because I want you to really understand how valuable this information that we're putting out here online, how valuable it actually is. And how hard people are trying to work for you not to receive this information. Because it is imperative that you not receive this information, because once you begin to receive your information or receive this information, you move from a Detroit Red to a Malcolm X. Or you move from who I used to be to who I am today. And so that disrupts the system of racism, white supremacy, because now you're not doing or engaging in the niggatry that you once engaged in before. Okay? And this has a lot to do with culture. So I'm going to go into culture right now. This is part 2 of the previous video I did about culture. And basically, just to give a quick rundown, if anybody didn't watch the first video, I was talking about how music is cultural and how, clothing and style of speech and expression is also cultural as well. So I don't think I touched too much on hairstyles, or if I did, I touched on females' hairstyles, if I could recall. I didn't touch on male hairstyles. And one of the hairstyles the most that derived from the system of racism, white supremacy, is the hairstyle of waves. Because waves are the grandson of kunking. And if anybody knows what kunking is, if you ever seen the movie Malcolm X with Denzel Washington, it was a scene where he was in the shower with the gentleman who actually brought him to the Nation of Islam. And he was putting in the kunk to make his hair straight. And so the guy says, why you out here kunking your hair? He's like, and Malcolm X was like, because don't no nigga want to walk around with no nappy head looking like you. You've been in jail too long, fool. Everybody kunks. That's my impression of the movie scene. But anyway, so yeah, he was like, everybody kunks, fool, because nobody want to walk around with a nappy ass head. And so the idea of kunking was to lay your hair down. Now we call it perms, right? But the idea of kunking was to lay your hair down, make it as straight as possible. When you look at the waves that our men wear today, because again, waves are the grandson of kunking. You're laying your hair down, you're putting something on top of your head, and you're brushing it and putting oils and putting grease in there until it becomes so straight that it becomes wavy. So although it is a statement in itself, and yes, I'm pretty sure a lot of people can, debate this topic and say, well, blah, blah, blah. It still comes from the culture of kunking, of straightening your hair as a black man, although you're not using too much chemicals, because some people do have to use a little hair grease. But it's the opposite of the nappy natural hair. It's the straightening the hair, right? And again, weaves also go into a cultural level. Not to get on the sisters, I don't want to bash on the sisters too much, but weaves actually go into a cultural level as well, because again, there's nothing wrong with wearing the braids, the plaits, and those forms, because our ancestors wore those in Africa. They still wear them to this day. But when you're putting on a Eurocentric blonde weave and you live in a Eurocentric society that's designed to make you hate everything of who you are, then it is essentially presumed that you are copying the people who are in the higher echelon of the society. All of these things come into effect because we have to understand sociology and psychology. And I don't want to sit up here acting like I'm the brainiac of the conscious community, that I can't ever be wrong. But a lot of my information, I personally studied thoroughly. And there have been people before me that have studied this information thoroughly as well. Even with dealing with things like, let's say, the Cosby effect and how that has played in culture throughout the United States. We all know the Cosby effect in sociology basically states that, when you have a people and you give them positive images, then those people will inspire themselves or have aspirations to mimic those positive images. So what these sociologists did is that they looked at the numbers of enrollments in black colleges, HBCUs, when shows like A Different World was on, when shows like The Cosby was on, and they noticed that enrollments skyrocketed. Black kids were going to college, and so they called it the Cosby effect, because if you don't know, Bill Cosby created The Cosby Show, and he also created A Different World, which is a spinoff of The Cosby Show. And so the counter to the Bill Cosby effect, right, which is black empowerment, HBCUs, will be what I call the Kim Kardashian effect. That will be the counter to that. And that is racism, white supremacy coming back to say, hold on. You Negroes had the whole 90s where y'all had Martin, Fresh Prince, a living single. Y'all had no. We got to reverse that, because look at all the people who essentially grew up watching the Cosbys, grew up watching A Different World. These people became lawyers, doctors. They became entrepreneurs. Like, you could not fuck with the 90s if you were African. I just watched a show on Netflix just recently called Remembering the 90s. Now, mind you, the first few episodes had a few segments of black people in there, but they primarily talked about just how great blackness was. Now, here's the thing about it, what we can't miss too. Going back to being a culture, black people have always been great in the eyes of white people. We created scatting, we created scat, we created tap dancing. So entertainment and greatness has always been synonymous with blackness, because it comes from, again, the system of racism, white supremacy, us entertaining white people. And we have not moved yet out of that entertainment sphere. We're still firmly placed in entertaining white people for status or for money. We're still in that same spot since the end of slavery. So culturally, black people in America, primarily, their biggest, richest people have always been entertainers. Always been entertainers. You can't name a black Donald Trump. Someone who had 5 generations of wealth, who made their money off of real estate. Still to this day, you probably can't name a black Donald Trump. Now, I'm not saying we don't have entrepreneurs out there that's doing their thing within the black community. You have black men who are secretly doing their thing. the guy that promotes for Mayweather. Can't think of his name right now. He's not a very flashy guy. A lot of people don't know who he is. He's like a billionaire. Okay. Can't think of his name right now, but he's a boxer promoter, whatever like that. And this guy's very low key. But again, I said, name a black Donald Trump, someone who made their money off of real estate, 5 generations of wealth, and is well known. See, before Donald Trump was a celebrity and now the president of the United States, by the way, he was already a superstar as far as being known. Why was Donald Trump so known? Just for being white and rich. That's why we knew Donald Trump. The same reason Kim Kardashian got money. I mean, be real, her father was a lawyer. Her stepfather was an Olympic gold medalist. But until she did that sex tape with Ray J, nobody knew who Kim Kardashian was. She was ironing clothes for Brandy. And that's how she ended up sleeping with Ray J. Because she was Brandy's stylist or something like that. She used to run and get coffee for Brandy. You know? But her being white catapulted her to stardom, to being an international name, a household name, where black and white girls marvel over her. So we talk about culture. We have to understand that culture is not just language. Culture is the overall social connection between people, how they interact, how they do commerce, how they spend their economics, language, expression, dress. Culture is a mince of things, man. Culture is also the teaching and rearing of a group of children to teach them how to survive for themselves. If a culture is outdated where you can no longer sustain or create power within your tribe or your ethnicity or your race, then that culture needs to be updated. It's a fact. That's where our ancestors went astray. They didn't update their culture when dealing with Europeans. They thought that spirituality would take care of everything. Spirituality is one aspect of the culture. Defense as well must become a part of African people's culture. Because we thought, we're just gonna pray the Europeans away. You know, we're just gonna do this. And don't get me wrong, we fought vigorously. I'm not taking that away from my ancestors. I'm saying that culture is the rearing and the teaching of children on how to survive. So we have to change our culture and our narrative of we got to pray about this. We got to, freak that. It's time for a defense culture. It's time for an offensive culture and a defensive culture and an economical culture. All of these things need to be practiced within our culture. And it needs to be cohesive, no matter what our ethnicity differences is. Because you see this flag behind me? In the middle is the Haitian symbol. But the colors on it are African. Never get that mistaken. I have a Haitian culture, but I'm African. Never get that mistaken. But anyway, the totality of culture is so immense that I probably can't even get into all of these videos right now. It'll probably be a part 2 after this. A part 3 after this. Who knows? Because there's just so many levels of culture. Anyway, family, until next time, think black, stay black, love black, support black. And that's real African black power.